things. But in reality, it's just our critique stream.
Yay! Featuring crit.
Yeah! Oh my gosh, Lunabot said we're streaming. Look at that.
Oh!
Yeah.
Good day.
So today, in my head, I have the voices of Aliclaw
Howdy.
and Gift.
Hello.
Yeah. He didn't
What?
know if he was actually joining.
I I'm here because of that. Why would I be here anyways?
We're all just here really to hang out with Zamzam.
Aww.
Little cat, so.
And we have me, Living Dead.
Of course, that's a good reason too here to be.
So we got some art today, huh?
Yeah. And as you notice, our text is slightly different. It has a very weird drop down. I don't know what's going on. I'll be honest. It's a little bit different. We're trying new software because last time it didn't work. And then we shot for 2 hours and went, yep, we're done. We're just going home and having a beer. Yep.
Yep. Oh, and I think it's good to add on that Picarto also just kind of stopped working that day.
Yeah, it was a double whammy. It was the best.
Yeah. All the sides. Why not? Everything can go wrong. One thing can go wrong.
Exactly. So, welcome Stranger Source and Mal Winters and Eland. Hi.
All the people.
You're cheerleaders. At least Stranger Sources.
Stranger is our ever vigilant host of the Aggie and Drell stream. Wow, yeah.
Aggie, you say? Oh my gosh.
Aggie.
Other people should join it because it's great.
Yeah.
Look at
Draw,
this.
guys. Have some fun. Draw some art.
Yes, fun. It's good.
This week's theme is running of the leaves. So we have.
Is that a leaf running?
That's a leaf running.
I am. Whoever did that, you. Yeah, you're great.
You're
a great
welcome.
person.
You're welcome, Allie.
Oh my god. Damn it, stop.
So that's happening. Yeah, so you should join into that. In case you're wondering what the link is, well, it's posted into the chat again. And it'll also be thrown into art, because art.
Everyone should art.
Yeah. And if you're wondering why I'm throwing it into art, or what art is, it's our Discord. It's located at the bottom of our description. Here, I'll throw it into the chat for everyone. Everyone who's probably from Discord anyway. There you guys go.
You never know.
You never know. Who's Mal Winters? I don't know Mal Winters. Anywho.
Do I?
So anyway, we are critiquing. And today's critique we have... Oh no, I closed down the one window that I was supposed to be looking at.
What of these wonderful things do we start off with?
We should probably be starting off with the... Where did I put my draw pile? Hey, look at that. This one... Do you remember which one this one was?
The zombie one? The screen. There it is. I'm finally caught up. That one, I can pull up. Hold on. I can pull up the Reddit. Right, Jiffy Quick. Jiffy.
I swear it's not on Reddit anymore. Oh, Jilari? Was that it? Oh no! This is why I should never close windows. There it is. I found it. It's Crook Shark.
Crook Shark. This is one of two of their images they submitted. We're just doing the one because this one's a full body, where the others are kind of half faces. So it's gonna be better to talk with this guy, get a little breakdown. What's going on? What's going down? How can we improve? Done good and what's done? All that fun stuff.
So, as some of you may know, we do discuss the pieces that we have on the subreddit beforehand, so we don't come in blind. And after looking at this and the other piece, we decided that we didn't actually want to critique the form of the pony, because we believed any advice we're about to give this user would probably be better suited for sketching suggestions, like how to approach your sketch and ways to improve general line quality. Because once they can start getting down the lines, then they can start focusing on the proportions and shapes of a pony. But it's going to be a lot easier for them if they can get down, how to hold a pencil, how to use a pencil, that kind of deal.
I agree on that.
Yeah, we have agreement.
Woo!
I'll sign it here. Right?
So, I think one of the, just diving right on in, I think one of the main points we wanted to talk about was the size you draw. And this is something that's actually more important than people think. And I think we all start out doing it because we're in school and we just want to doodle in the margins. So we end up drawing very tiny things just off to the side. Well, when you're practicing and you're learning, you want to actually give yourself a nice big surface. You want to be able to use your whole arm. A lot of time we start off just using our wrists, and honestly, that's not the best thing for you, because if you forever draw with your wrist, you can damage your wrist. Actually, there's a lot of things like carpal tunnel is a huge risk if you just stick with your wrist. That's really hard to say, risk and
Say it 3 times fast. No.
No, thank you. But yeah, something that's not often mentioned. It's not really, well, it's often mentioned, but if you're starting out drawing, you're just kind of like, you see something you want to draw some ponies. You're like, oh, I'm gonna go do that today. You don't really think, oh, I'm gonna use my entire arm to draw this little pony on a piece of paper. It's like, no, I'm just gonna, do this and that. But I'm gonna say this: working your entire arm and actually not having your wrist move. Your wrist can be used for small details, but try not to rely on just the wrist. Try to draw a little bit bigger. Get full swooshes. Draw the pony like on a piece of printer paper and have it fill the printer paper page. Go nice and big. Start to feel it. Feel the swooshes, the bodies, the proportions. And that's just a little spiel about size, and how you draw things. Like,
so, I'm going to pick up where you left off then. Holding a pencil, everyone does it a different way. Don't be too worried about how you're holding it, as long as it's comfortable and loose. You don't want to be holding it white knuckle tight, because that's just going to fatigue your hand real quick and going to give you weird jitters. You want to have a loose hold on your pencil, and you want to just be nice and smooth with it. It shouldn't be hurting after holding it for a few moments. You should be able to draw for a few hours without a sore hand, if you're loose gripped. Now, as far as Aliclaw was mentioning trying to reduce the amount of use on your wrist, the reason we suggest to reduce the use of your wrist is because your arm's a heck of a lot better at being smooth than your wrist will ever be. Your wrist is great for very fine movements, but it's not the most accurate muscle grouping in your body. But by using your arm instead of your wrist, you have this big, long pendulum that you can swing, and it is very easy to keep a nice, smooth line. So I can demonstrate right here. So doing a quick stroke with my... Oh, where'd my layers go? There we go. We have a layer again. Doing a quick... No, we don't. Ellie?
What?
The layers. They keep disappearing on me.
Oh, I'm not touching nothing.
Are you able to add a layer? Sometimes it gets buggy on me.
Let's see. Yeah, I can add layers.
Alright.
You seen them?
Yeah, I see yours. Mine disappear as soon as I add them. There they go. I'll rely on yours.
Today. Nicer.
That's weird. I'm the host. Shouldn't it
I
always
can
work
add
better?
layers too.
Alright. So, wrist movement gets me a stroke, kind of jittery. You can see, for instance, on this one, it's not straight. Here, let me use a different color to circle it. It's not straight, and it doesn't flow nearly as smoothly as the two brethren beside it. Now, if I was to do arm movement instead, I would give myself a larger area to work with. That's why we suggest using your full sheet of paper. And I get a nice arm swoop. Look at that. Nice and smooth the entire distance through. If I want to do a straight line, I can do that too with arm movement. I place my pencil, look at the point I want to go to, say the collar on this pony, and I do a stroke up there. Won't always be perfect every single time, but it is pretty smooth. And you can just redo that again. Look at that, right to where I wanted it. That's the advantage of using your arm over your wrist. Now, we aren't saying completely stop using your wrist. You're still going to run into the times where the area is too small to possibly ever get a good arm swoosh going in. That's still fine to use your wrist for all those things. But we're saying for your general bodies and areas that you can get away with long swooshes, do it. You're going to find a lot of improvement on your art.
Yes, most definitely. I mean, details, they're gonna happen, but like swooshing, and I think this also is a good time to segue also into like the whole idea of swooshing things instead of slowly trying to painstakingly line something. Take it in bits and swoosh it. Swooshing is it's like exactly how it sounds. I want to see if I can pull up the tag. I'll post it in the chat. But swooshing with big lines using your whole arm, it's gonna give you a much cleaner and more confident stroke than trying to drag, your pencil to make a line. I don't know if you guys want to demonstrate that.
Using a pencil to make a line?
Yeah, show some swooshing. Swoosh a circle for me.
Swoosh. Well, okay. So in reality, your circle shouldn't be created in one, or it can be created in one circle, but it's not easy to do that. What you want to do when approaching circles is you're going to happily accept that you're going to do more than one circle. So you go, give it a few, and you just go over those lines with a nice light pencil, and you're going to basically average out your circle. And you're just correcting each time around, and whatever lines work the best for you, you then correct. So if you're wondering what this looks like, here's the link.
Yep. I threw it there, and I don't know if you want to throw it on the stream.
Yeah, I just threw it up on the image video
awesome.
thingy.
I'm so far behind, I can't tell anymore.
I know, it's horrible. Just believe in me.
I believe you.
So here's number 1. No. One and done, bad. No corrections. Expects perfection. Perfection in art is horrible to ever try.
There's no such thing as perfection in art. It just doesn't exist. Not real.
Pretty good will happen eventually, but don't expect it right off the bat. So number 2, scratchy. Why bad? Short, indecisive, and slow. That's where you're doing all these little strokes. You can see them all there. A lot of artists do that to start off because, hey, if I do this, I can get some of these smooth lines and I'll just clean it up. No, it's slow and it just leads to bad form. Much like sitting in a chair. You don't want to have bad form get you in your later years. So swoosh.
It's hard to break that. It's hard to break that habit,
Exactly.
Yeah. Kill it while it's young.
Kill it with fire. So 3, swooshing. Yes. Why is it good? It allows mistakes and correction. It's fast and very flexible. There you go. Swooshing.
Swoosh.
Now, I know some people will say, but that looks like a messy circle. This is a sketch. It's to make your circle, to feel it out, to form it. Don't feel bad if it's messy. Don't sketching is supposed to be messy, and it's gonna inform you. And that's why we have undersketching and sketching, and then you clean up your sketch, and there's a lot of layers to sketching, and I think people don't consider that all the time. But it's a good thing to think about, that you don't just go straight for the line art. You gotta plan things out. You gotta make it messy and then clean it up and give yourself enough information for when you do the line art, you're just tracing your sketch.
So now, yeah. So now, if you're still with us, Croc Shark, I would love to assign you something. I want you to grab a few sheets of blank white paper like you're using, that 8.5 by 11 or whatever you call it these days, A4. You're going to grab a few sheets of them, and I want you to draw a single pony head covering the entire sheet. I want you to do it 2 or 3 times. Make sure to grab a few references and just try your best. And when you're done, I want you to hop into our Discord and throw them at us. Try and ping us being Alley Claw or Living Dead. We'll happily give you a thumbs up and talk about it. Or if you don't want to hop onto Discord, throw it into Reddit or onto the MLP Drawing School and be like, you guys told me to do this. Here's what I did. Well, how can I help? Or what can I do to improve? We'll do our best to get you.
Definitely. And for the references, feel free to like choose your favorite artist. You know, do something from the show itself. You just you find something you like and use that. Something you want to create, something you want to learn to do, and there's your reference. Hey, you could even do real horse if you want to get, if you want to challenge yourself.
Real horses
They're
are
challenging.
scary.
They're challenging. I'm like the long face. I'm used to the pony roundness, but I was trying to do some horse studies because let's face it, horses are the gods of ponies because the horses breed the ponies.
What?
Fact.
Hold on. Are you saying saddle Arabians are the gods?
Yeah, it's quite obvious. Can't use because the alicorns look more horse than the ponies, and the saddle Arabians even look even more horse than the alicorns. So, I'm seeing the line here. I'm seeing, right? Someone write the fan fiction. Get started. It's canon or something. We can be the next Earth song with their canon. We can do it. It'll be great.
You're my favorite person.
I'm so happy I can do that for you.
Yes, you are too. For me, like
Hmm.
for everyone. Eddie is just
Oh,
best
Giving
person.
Dead, you guys are great. You guys are great. Just good time. Good people. Good people. See, this is what the drugs. This is art. This is what art does. Brings people together. It's great.
It's like cocaine. I mean,
Back in the day, you're not wrong.
anyway, back onto PG territory. Let's do the background one.
All right, I'm game for that. Nice little challenge.
So this one,
Plus to all y'all in the chat. I just caught up.
yeah.
Plus to y'all.
Eddie Claw plus.
All the plus to all y'all. Y'all get pluses today. Have fun. Do some calculations.
Oh geez. 3.
You get another plus.
Oh geez.
All right, backgrounds.
So this picture is submitted by Artemis Plum. I love their name because Artemis is such a fun game. Anyway, Artemis Plum, the castle of the two sisters under Nightmare Moon. Nightmares moon. My bad. There's 2 moons there. I feel like it lacks hard shadows and to give it a better depth of impression. Bracket and probably a lot of other stuff. Bracket, but I'm not sure how to make them. So that's gonna be hard shadows.
Well, first off, as I gotta say, some of your texture work is really nice here. Like some of the stuff you got going on in the walls and the trees, like the leaves. There's some really lovely stuff going on in the bark as well.
I love these leaves.
These leaves, they're lovely, and I love the wall textures.
These are great here.
Especially that wall texture with the door. It feels very dark. It feels very grimy. I see some cracks. I see, where the sun just hits the edge of the brick. It's very nicely done. I gotta say, some of the texture work here is really nicely done. Thumbs up to that. Texture's hard.
Yeah. So, they're asking about dark, giving it more depth.
So, honestly, I think this is something that'll help compositionally end with your darkness issue. Clouds. Have some clouds cover the moon. Have some clouds cover the sky. That way, you still get the moon. You can still have the moon peeking through, and you have, like the moon, the mare and the moon still on the moon, and you can have, some light peeking through. But these dark clouds are gonna help you feel like a more, dark and gloomy night. There's clouds overhead. It'll give it a little more spooky feel, and it won't be so very bright, because the brightness of the moon that you're depicting on your castle ruins right now, it's very bright. It's like daytime bright. So I would definitely say, yeah, push for darker. Definitely push for that darker. Find where the dark spots would be. Consider all of those areas, and try to even push a little further to darkness, and where selective moonlight will hit the piece. And that'll help with cloud cover, because you'll only get like moon rays coming down instead of just the whole moon like a giant flashlight flashing down onto the castle itself. What do
Totally
y'all
agree.
think?
I'm actually pulling up the picture in a separate piece of software here because this one
Oh.
lacks some of the tools I want to show that will help to better get this range that they're going for. So if you can just please hold on as I complete your call.
What do I hold on to? Should I just hold my tablet?
That's probably a good call.
Give it a nice hug.
Where'd my pictures go? There they are. Drawing. Critique. Yeah. Alright. Unfortunately, people on the draw pile won't see this, but everyone in the stream will.
And that's what matters.
Let me just do some display foo here. Oh, look at that. Now the entire thing's on screen. Alright, so I loaded this up in GIMP. Generally, you can do this in any good art programming. Drawpile is not a good art program, so you can't do it. But here's what I'm suggesting you do. During your art process, I suggest if you're trying to get a nice, dark, rich, and bold image, to grayscale it. And what you do for that is you either decolorize it, or you pull all the saturation out of it, or you use a gray tool, because some tools have the option of turning everything to grayscale. In this case, I'll just pull all the saturation out. It's not a perfect answer to grayscale, but it does work. So here we are. We have your image now in gray. Now we have a better idea of what your white values and what your black values are. So we can see around the moon, that's almost pure white. There's a little bit of gray to it, which is good because you shouldn't have pure white. It's a bad color. Everything has a tint to it at some point or another. And you have some almost pure black in the bark. So now we have our range set. We have a range of the moon being the brightest and the knots of this bark being the darkest. Specifically, let me toss a new layer on here. Layers. Oh, come on. Is everything going to be a punk to me?
No,
it
don't be
is.
rude.
It's all going to be a punk. Okay. Why is it? Ellie!
What'd I do?
I don't know. I don't know what it's doing. It was supposed to be making me seem intelligent. It's not doing it. Instead, it's making me seem not... Alright, well, apparently I'm not allowed to add new layers to a drawing anymore.
Well, that's just rude.
Yeah, I know. Oh, there they are. All 12 layers are in a different window. When you tell it to be one window, it decides that new layer option isn't. Because open source.
Okay.
There it is. Look, it has a new layer. Why was that so hard? Open source software. Come on. Anyway, back onto what we're talking about here. So we have your brightest area here. We're gonna highlight it in. Where's my color picker? Wow, this program. I should use this once in a lifetime instead of just having it sit around. Color, Windows, Tools. All right. Apparently, I'm not allowed to use colors today. I'm sorry, everyone, and especially
You're
the
fine.
person who's, hopefully we're critiquing here. So the moon, our moon right here, it's all happy. Oh, there's the colors. Thanks, colors. Moon, it's our brightest, highlighted in yellow, and our darkest in blue is the tree barks over here. So if we use those to create our values, then we know what to set it. So, nighttime skies. Nighttime skies are very dark. We're talking black. Your moon, however, destroys some of that because ambient occlusion split across the sky. So you are on the right track where you have it fading from this bright area here all the way to the darker over here. It's great. I would smooth that out a little bit more towards this ring over here because it starts initially with a halo around it, but then drops off real quick. So that's a great start to that. Your areas over here, like this edge along here, and some of the edges across here, wonderful highlights done on them. Great approach trying to make that moonlight pop a lot more without just making the image black. It's great. Now, let's talk about darkening the rest of the scene, because with all that bright, we should have a high contrast to the dark. There shouldn't be much sitting in that gray area. Even with the full moon up, there's going to be a lot of very heavy shadows hanging around, because the moon's not a very bright source, even when it's a full moon. So, all this area over here, this stuff over here, all this stuff falling off the edge here, all of this, push its contrast a lot harder. Take your airbrush or whatever you're using to try and shade, and you're just gonna push that push that darkness way further. And your goal is to get to the point of the darkest area on the trees, because where the light's not hitting, it's all going to be dark. There is a little bit of reflected light hanging around the surfaces, but for now we're just going to deal with the darks and the lights. You can deal with the reflected surfaces at a different date when you're feeling more content with your darks and lights. After you're done approaching that, you're going to go back, refine a little bit, smooth it out, make sure that you're giving some hard shadows along with some soft shadows. The moon is going to give a lot of very hard shadows dropped across areas like these trees, because it is a smaller but intense light source. Something like the sun tends to be a larger, softer area, but still drops hard light. It's a lot easier if you actually just walk out and look at the shadows that it generates. Light's fun like that. Anyway, back on track. We'll get there eventually.
It's all process.
Where was I? I was talking about I had them dropping light, right? Dropping shadows? Mm-hmm. Right.
Dropping
Once you have your shadows into the gray that you believe they should be, you're going to take that layer that you're working on. Hopefully you're working on a layer above everything else, not just working on the layers themselves. And you're going to set it to an overlay. What the overlay should do is it should take the values that you had on that, and it should multiply with them with the values that you have on the layers beneath it. And that should take all that darkness values and stamp it right on down. If it doesn't work, try the shading option. Some of them work a little bit differently. I know size overlay layer just does an equalizing, but Photoshop's does like a gated equalize. It's weird. Everyone decides to do different things. So just try your different layer options. For instance, this layer option is currently set to nothing, because we get nothing from it. That's nice of it. Thanks, layer. I can't even show my options. Anyway, you're just going to do that. You're going to play with the layer options after doing the shading, and hopefully it comes out to something you're looking for. If it still doesn't work out, you can take that layer and just use it as a reference for when you bring all the saturation back to your image and work on the already shading layers that you have existing. Hope that helps. Discard changes. And I do have one more thing that is not related to your shading. This grass. Let's talk this grass. I know the grass brush makes life easy. You're just using essentially a fine brush that has a bunch of bristles. Makes life easy. Don't do that. I know it seems tempting. It's really tempting just to done. Hey, look, I got grass. Grass, when you stare at it at a distance, is just a body of greens. It has broken up shading areas, but you aren't seeing individual grasses unless if you have eyes like a hawk. So approach it like that. You'll see specific bodies sticking out of it, Here's a little body of course I'm doing green on green. Here's a little body of grass here. Here's some blades of grass over here. You know, there's a rock over here, so we can put some blades of grass there. Rock. Blades of grass stick in front of it. Whatever. But it's not every individual blade needs to be shown. So my suggestion, smooth out these areas and just give it a few blades of grass. Areas around your walls and that, they can easily show the blades of grass because it will make sense. It has something to contrast against, something for your eyes to go, hey, there's a difference between that blade of grass and that blade of grass. But for the rest of it, just smooth it on out. It'll save you a lot of time in the future.
And so, you know, it's a classic thing. Sometimes less is more.
Mm-hmm. If you want a good example of that, go look at Calvin and Hobbes. They do a wonderful job of doing that. If you want a horrible example of that, go look at Studio Ghibli. They do the exact opposite of what I say.
They pretty though. The way
So
they
pretty.
do it just right.
But those are people who've been doing that for years. Decades
Yeah, it's
even.
true. Plus, it's animated. Moving things, even if it's like, it just, you know.
Yeah. Anywho, you were about to say?
Yes, I have, we haven't talked about the trees, right?
No.
Okay, so, my thing with the trees, they're all very uniform in shape. I feel like we could spice it up a bit and even have branches coming off the trees. And they're all kind of coming out at strange angles. I understand what you're going for. They're kind of growing out of the castle, and you know they're disrupted by the ruins, and they're kind of like growing and slowly sort of helping with the destruction of the castle. But I think the angles just might be a little too harsh. Let me get not a green color pen. That's I'll go with pink. Pink's a good color. So even if you want it slightly tilted, I would think go with a large tree. It's been there a while. You know, get yourself some references of trees as well. Kind of get a feeling of how the branches are, how it's built. Go for a big one up front. Don't be afraid to go and play with the branches. There's squiggly ones. You get weeping willows that might give you a very nice effect. Or you have the thicker pen. You got the weeping willows, which could have like a long weeping dome coming out from them. You just kind of sweep over the edge. They're really fascinating. Those weeping willows. They're so flowy. They're like little bips of this drooping, tree with beautiful leaves hanging off them. And that adds a very spooky, vibe, very rundown, very just whimsical in itself. And it is the castle of the two sisters, so it's pretty whimsical. But yeah, I would say play with the trees more because I love the texture you got going on for the trees and the leaves. But I think it would really benefit you to look at some trees and look at some different types of trees. And even if you have this one specific tree you want to draw, find several references of that one tree and do different versions of it. Have one having like a branch coming off and there's some more leaves going on over there, or instead of having like the trunk visible back here, I'll grab some orange, this trunk back here just popping out, maybe just have in this red just have the tree sort of hanging off from the side instead of just hey, there's a tree with a branch and here's the trunk, and just so you know it's a tree. People will get it. If it works with the piece, people will understand. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on the matter. Just go out and find some references. Go do some more trees that aren't just like the bush on top. Have some variety. That's a good way to put it. Variety's the spice of life. That's my 2 cents on the trees.
I approve. Your use of weeping willows makes me happy.
Weeping willows are awesome. I think they're a very not underappreciated, but an underused tree to put into things because they're not really the first thing that's thought of. You think of like evergreens, oak, maple, but like the weeping willows. They're great.
We used to have a white paper birch willow in front of our house.
Ooh,
It stood about 4 stories tall. It was ridiculous.
wow.
We had to chop it down eventually because it was murdered by insects, and we're scared of it collapsing on us.
Ooh. Yeah, that's...
But it's so beautiful. Like these massive spangly vine thingies hanging down from it. So cool when it was blooming. Anyway.
Also, I'm just gonna add on the paper bark trees, the ones that like peel. I just love the way the bark looks.
Yeah.
It's so pretty. Anyway, last comment on trees. We're not the tree stream, I swear.
Are you? No, we're the. Dang it! I can't make the Reddit joke because not everyone's gonna get it.
Flutter tree? We can
No,
make a
the
flutter
marijuana enthusiasts group is just for people who actually like trees.
Oh.
That's great. Go Reddit.
Well, it's because the pot people took /r trees, so people who actually wanted to post about trees took marijuana enthusiasts. Because, Reddit. Alright. Next. It takes a lot of effort to move this canvas around.
It sounds very hard work to move around.
I live a hard life there.
Yeah.
You sound doubtful, Allie.
You,
There's just this part
you
of me.
should snuggle some plushies and all and make life easier.
That's for
I don't know.
after stream. Alright, so let's talk about this piece. This piece is done by Pa_Kalshi. Yeah, Pa_Kalshi. Why not? And it's working out a composition, feedback needed. So they actually made a comment on it. This year the theme of UK's PonyCon is Heroes and Villains, and this is going to be my centerpiece. If I can wrestle it into shape. I'm drawing inspiration from classic ensemble anime posters, but I've not handled this many characters before, and I'm struggling with it. I'm relatively okay with Twily, Rarity, and Fluttershy, but Pinkie Pie in particular is just hanging out there in the middle and not contributing much to the overall composition. Fresh eyes are necessary, and any feedback would be appreciated. I would like to point out, this is a traditional composition. Traditional.
Yeah.
Now I'm just looking, where is Pinkie Pie there?
In the middle.
In the middle, that's Pinkie Pie.
Pretty sure that's Pinkie Pie. Yeah, hanging out there in the middle. I think one of the issues is you do actually just have her framed by every single character there. If you're to have 2 characters in the middle, it would work out a lot better because then you could avoid the framing aspect that you're getting.
There is a lot of free space on the left and right side of her, which just looks a bit... It does not fit that well there. Yeah, as you said, either put the other two closer. I think that would already look much better.
I think they're going for that teardrop of classic shape, but with Rarity's massive mane, if you were to actually replace her position with Applejack's... No, sorry, that's a Rainbow Dash above her. My bad. If you were to replace her position with Rainbow Dash, it would easily give a good reason to push Pinkie Pie just off to the right a bit more, so her head would be hanging over here, and that would clear up a lot of that space. Now, I do understand what you're trying to go with the Rainbow Dash and Applejack. Generally, they are very contrasting but the same characters, so they like to be paired together as a framing element, but it might just work better in your case to move them around. Any thoughts, Allie?
Sorry, can you repeat that? I had to deal with something.
Did you knock them out, yo?
Yes, it was quite violent.
I hope you stole their
We
wallets.
hugged, we hugged a lot, and there was plushies thrown. No, I
That
just had to
doesn't.
answer someone's
Or
email.
I don't know what exactly he or she is representing, but with the mane, that might be look also better, and not with a mask on or something that is overlaying the mane, so head looks so naked.
Who are we talking about? The pinky?
The
Yeah,
pinky in question is being framed by everything else, and they're saying
Uh-huh.
that they don't like how it is because it's not contributing to the picture. So our suggestion was either move Applejack and Rainbow Dash closer, or shift Rarity's position with Rainbow Dash, forcing Pinkie Pie over because Rarity's mane takes up an entire dang image, and then that would help frame that better.
That's true. That's true. I wonder if there's a way to utilize, like, because you know how when they sort of transform, there's like that magical girl transformation thing going on. Wonder if there's a way we can utilize this by having some sort of effect going throughout the middle and the outsides to help draw everything to the point, but also this idea of like imagination going on. Because like Spike's reading the comic and the heroes are kind of above him and things are just they're happening and there can be some sort of like power pulse in between the power ponies, rainbow power, all that. There's enough views. Or you know what? We could even go for an expression change on Pinky. She's always so exaggerated and her character Philly Second, it's a very speedy pony, very like, energized, crazy. And this is a very subdued face, I think. What if we went for a complete different, uh expression change? We got her like mouth really wide open and just her ears, poked out and just her face really like getting the attention of the center. Something very like expressive and it'll feel less empty because she won't be as serene and calm because that's not really her character. Get her really pumping into it. Those are just some suggestions to throw around, especially with the flow because she's the center. So we'll obviously, with the way everyone's laid out, we already got a nice flow of kind of this like half diamond sort of heart shaped thing. But yeah, getting her to expand her face via expression, and since Pinky's very cartoonish, we can obviously exaggerate features, which will fill in the space a little bit more and make it feel more active and alive and just there's more happening. And you know what? I kind of like the idea of her being the only one with her hooves, just because Pinky's known for the fourth wall jumping. So it's like she's coming out of the imagination while everyone else is just kind of in there. This is just me spitballing ideas. There's so many ways to approach this, and these are just if you want to consider any of them. If it just do what feels right. But this is my opinion idea thrown at you. If you want to change it up.
I just basically mimicked what you were saying. I
Mm-hmm.
her hooves are now pushing on Rarity and Twilight there, mouth fully open, smiling. Doing the pinky thing.
Yeah,
that's also a good idea. I mean, there are many ways to solve this problem.
that's the magic of art. There's like 1,002 ways to get your answer. Yeah, I mean, like, I hope this was helpful. I'm trying to think, like, I'm really happy with all your other stuff. Your anatomy's great. Their faces are lovely. You got all the cute things. I love the way Spike is sitting. It's such a cute pose with like the one leg up, tucked, and then Fluttershy at the top. That's a great touch. But yeah, that's only 2 cents I had to throw at it. And sorry for getting distracted during this critique.
Don't be. We really don't care if you get distracted, so long as you still love us.
Of course I love you guys. You're my brothers in art. We are all brothers in art.
Woot. All right. So we have a picture submitted by Salami. Salami Showdown. One of our regulars here. Hi, Salami.
Hi, Salami.
Salami.
Uh,
I don't like salami. I mean,
what?
yeah, I don't eat it.
Oh my gosh. But it's so good. And you can get like it's spiced, so it's like Hungarian sauce. Oh, it's just so good. Gift, I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Then let me be wrong.
Hey, Allie dear,
That's a
Yeah.
can you add us
pretty
a few
moon
layers
princess.
above layer 3?
Of course. That's the one thing I can do.
I
Wait,
mean,
I can add you layers too.
this.
Therefore, no, they get removed.
Yeah, I
Oh
don't
fuck.
understand what's happening. Oh, hey.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not. No one heard that. No, nothing. I said nothing.
Ooh, those eyes.
She's crying though.
Hmm.
She's happy
There are
sad.
tears on.
Tears of
Salami,
joy.
is she happy or sad?
It could be a mix.
I eat pizza with tuna.
Huh? Pizza with tuna. Cheese and tuna?
Is
Yeah?
that somewhat like? Would that be like the anchovies, but better
No,
tasting?
no. It's it's definitely better tasting fish than anchovies.
That's fair.
I was trying to give her a crazy look. I, I'm sorry.
I
With,
can see that. Oh, go ahead.
no, it's all yours. It's all yours.
Okay. Trying to give her a crazy look. So she's like kind of because I can see this as someone breaking. Like they're just like they're happy, they're sad, they're breaking inside. Their eyes go all wide. They just like lost it. That's what I can see. There could maybe be action to follow, but since this is just a still image, I get that they're breaking, but I can see where we didn't get it right away. Because I could see this as like tears of joy because the smile and the bright eyes, it's kind of like the puppy dog eyes. But now that you're saying they're going crazy, I can see where you're coming from with this expression. That's
It's
just,
it's the eyes that are ruining that expression for me mostly, because
I,
generally when you get that, or when people show that sort of crazy, murderous sort of smile, that wild-eyed look, you'll have shrunken pupils and shrunken corneas, the color
yeah.
area.
And sometimes even like, I don't know how wackadoodle crazy you want to go, but you can have different size pupils in corneas, as well as like maybe one eyelid slightly down. Like trying to think what would be a good reference for like a good face like that.
Breaking symmetry is also very important for it. Right now, your face is very much symmetrical. Your ears are nearly Actually, they are almost perfect symmetrical. Did you just do a mirror of the ears and the eyes? No, the eyes are different. The coloring in the eyes are different. But the ears are dang perfect. Anyway, if you're to drop one of the sides of one of these mouths so it sort of tilts down a little bit, that will add to that breaking of the symmetry, especially if it's towards the side with the tear. That's probably going to help that out, because then we're creating this framing element along the side of that mouth where pen color, where it forces us to sort of look around this area as it curls down. So if we keep the mouth curling with it by dropping it a little bit, just a little bit, because broken smiles, it will aid to that, because it will bring us right back up to this side as we look on it. Boop, boop. Following this line here. Wacha.
Ciao, ciao.
Yeah. Also, the show loves to say when characters are, losing their mind, their hair goes crazy. Luna's hair is very majestic in here. Well, Nightmare Moon's mane is majestic as sin. I just want to leap into that thing and go on adventures. Can we break it? I know they're supposed to have like this ethereal, magical mane.
I mean, you could bring in the aspects of, crazy mane instead of curling the mane itself, maybe working with how it flows out.
How would you do that, Ellie?
I'm looking up a reference currently. I'm trying to get some ideas just of like, or what if we look at like wild horses? Because they have long majestic manes, but they're also a bit crazy, right? I mean, let me see. When in doubt, go to the source material.
No, I just have the Rolling Stones stuck in my head. Oh, look, it's GFC.
Hey, BSC. Because I don't know what it is, but there's something like wild horses, man. It's just their mane. It's a great time.
Oh, we can make it. We can make it somewhat easy too. We could use the references from Spirit. I want to say is the movie.
Yeah, the silent horse movie.
Is it a silent horse movie?
I
He
mean,
makes sounds.
it's you know what I mean. It's like a not speaky speak. They don't
Yeah,
speak them.
Spirit Stallion of something another, of wild mane.
It's like
Because other artists drawing horses helps. Look at that horse. That horse is amazing.
here's a horse. I threw a horse into the thing. It's like especially looking at its tail, it's just and its hair. It's wild. It's going. It's like I'm a horse. I'm wild. Hair's flinging everywhere. It's majestic in a way, but it's still frayed and crazy.
Crazy mane. This is like a picture that needs to go on some girl's wall while she's 12.
Mabel?
It's missing a unicorn horn then.
Well, she would just cover it with stickers and make it work.
Oh,
That's
right.
the Mabel way.
I love that
Yeah.
show.
What you could do, and like I said before, you can take away the curls and think of adding more. I don't want to say spikes because I see people use spiky hair and make it the bad kind of anime spiky hair because they do it for animation shortcuts, but we're not working in animation. So we want to go for a more flowy spike, more like, strands of hair coming off because it's wild and frayed, kind of crazy, but we can still keep the space aspect of it all.
Majestic eyebrows. Is this making sense, Salami?
We're just kind of I know it's kind of probably all over the place and crazy. I'm just trying to throw like ideas to inspire you to think like a new approach or something.
As we said in the last one, 1,000 ways of approaching it. Which one do you choose?
Exactly. You're the artist. You got the driving. You got that steering wheel. We're just like random pit stops to say, hey, there's a food place over here. Because, like, I love what you got with the Space Marine, because that Space Marine is some beautiful Space Marine. The only thing I would just say is, like, take out the curls and majesticness from it, and replace the curls with, like, flowing strands and spikes. I don't want to say spike. What's a better word than spike? Because I feel like if I tell someone to do, well, not tell, if I suggest to somebody to do some more spikiness to their hair, I feel like I'm just telling them do anime spikes.
Like strains?
Strands, I guess, yeah. Like clumps, hair. It's good to think of hair in clumps. It's good to think of them in strands. Yeah. I'm no expert. I'm not claiming to be. I'm just trying to be helpful. I don't know if I'm ever successful, but at least I try.
And that brings us back to number 3 on our list of things that we love to talk about. We aren't experts, but that's fine, because we're
Yeah.
willing to give the time to try and share our knowledge with you. So you should do the same. Critique other
And
people.
and
Sons.
it's an added bonus. It's an added bonus because maybe you don't know something, but when you're looking at someone else's piece, you notice something, and then you learn yourself, like, oh hey, there's that like issue I saw someone else having, and I was having it too, and now I know how to fix it because I saw someone else's thing through fresh eyes, and it's not my own work. Because your own work you're so involved with, you can't step back and see sometimes. I have that all the time with myself, at least,
All the time.
all the time. And and I know it's scary to get crit or to give crit because A, you don't want to like make the person feel bad, and B, you don't want to feel bad yourself. And it's art is hard. Art is hard. Art is very emotional. It's tied to your emotions a lot. But good constructive criticism is the best thing. It is absolutely the best thing because it's not only telling them how to change or giving suggestions how to fix something, it's also telling them what they did right, how they're approaching something in a good way, how it feels, how the viewer feels. Yeah, this is a great, like, I love your eyes for this, but here we could change the expression, like all that stuff. I love the space in the mane, but we could maybe make the mane a little less curly and majestic and more wild and crazy. Kind of blah blah. I had coffee before we did this stream, so that's why I'm a little more talkative today.
You should have coffee more often.
Oh, okay. I see how it is.
I like talking at the valley.
I see that jab. I can't be tired anymore. I'll drink coffee more often.
Love you.
Uh-huh. Okay, rant over.
Yep. Anyone else got art or questions? Questions,
Art.
Deviant art. Can you please never do this again in my life? Yes, I realize I'm running an ad blocker on your site, because your site's filled with ads.
Good old DA. They up the prices but don't change the quality.
It's true.
I really do pray for the day where there's an alternative. And I know there are, but none that can stand up against DA right now.
No. I mean, you have sites like Furfinity where it's just like, I want to always run with a safe for work filter on here. And
well,
even
that's like a fandom site though. That's like saying Derpy Boru.
Yeah. There's no general one. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Well, that
Isn't
I found.
Pixel something? Is it or
I've gone on there and I noticed a lot of art that would have never been put onto DeviantArt for the reasons of legal reasons.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going with that.
Yeah. And it quickly made you run away with the jetpack.
I see. Oh.
Now, I don't know if that's been fixed since, or if that was just like a spam post kind of deal, but I haven't been back since.
Well, isn't there also, there's one other one, it was like, what, ArtStation? But that feels like I think it was a bit intimidating for most people to join because they show themselves as like a professional portfolio site, where I know DeviantArt started out as like a portfolio site and kind of turned to Sonic OC. But yeah, I think ArtStation is one. There's actually, if you ever want to look for references, ArtStation has a lot of good concept artists on it. Yeah, they're all posting under their real name, and it's like a very like professional approach, which is good. I mean, if you want to go, go ahead and make an account, post there. They do have a lot of great artists on there. I'd say it's definitely less cluttered than DA, but yeah, BFC in the chat, who's also talking about ArtStation for those watching the YouTube video or just listening along, because then people like to listen. We have like 1 or 2 viewers an episode, but they're saying how there's actually companies on ArtStation that are scouting for artists, so it is definitely more professional appointed website for artists to be there, under real names, posting their art, making it a portfolio. So if that interests you, go for it. No one's saying you can't make an account.
Yeah. I'm actually tempted to go look at ArtStation. The only problem I have with posting with my real name, especially for my like pony art, is I know my coworkers have gone and looked up my name to go see what it's linked to. Because some of them talked about some of the sites I have my real name on, like my Steam. And they're like, oh, we noticed you play 10 billion hours of video games. Oh. I'm like, oh, how'd you figure that one out? Oh, we were looking for your name. Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
Stalk. Like a normal person? Anyway.
Normal people stalk everyone. The internet's so easy to just, hey, what's Alley Claw linked to? Oh my. Why is it all George Takei?
I had a fan club, So, I don't know. I think I've changed usernames since then, but at one point I did run a house fan club on a forum once.
Like Gregory House?
Yeah, like Gregory House.
Oh.
Yep. Oh, it was trashy too. I made those. What's that Gaia Online? Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
It's like the Neopets of anime. I created Gaia avatars to look like the cast, and I even put them together in ships. Like, it was total trash. Like,
You're
I was
the
in
best,
grade
Ellie.
school. I'm strange, and we're all strange.
Did the last season tick you off?
Very much
such
so.
Such a cop out.
It's like, oh, I won't spoil it, but yeah.
I think we're like
Very
past
much.
5 years. I think at this point it's your own dang fault for not watching it.
Alright, fine. I was pissed off. They're like, oh, hey, here's the cancer card. Everyone dies. Okay. not in the way you think. Nobody actually dies. Nah, I feel so like just putting it out there.
I know. It's just, yeah, it was such a cop out of a season. It
was
like for the awesomeness that the like season 3 to 5 were. The last one were just no.
And like, to be honest, I was never watching the show to get the storyline. Let's face it. It's like it's the disease of the week show.
Right.
It's like Law and Order, where it's the criminal of the week. But it was still fun and amusing. Just like the craziness that is that show. Anyway.
Yeah.
Any other art? We've just kind of been rambling, and the chat's been quiet. I don't know why they're still here.
I think they really like us, or Stockholm syndrome.
We are very entertaining. That's the reason, aren't we?
We are the prime thing of entertainment. Oh right, let's see what the Aggie's doing.
Oh, I guess I can pop that up just for you, Allie. Oh, look at that! We got.
I have to draw something there too soon.
We got a second leaf running. I appreciate that.
It's another leaf running, yeah.
It's beautiful.
I feel I need to draw a maple leaf running just to represent the Canadians.
Do it, Philly. Do it.
I haven't been a Philly for a long time.
Listen, everyone's a Philly in my book.
Well, at least half their chromosomes are.
It's just so much more fun to say Philly. Inky gets mad at me because I'll just call everyone in the show a Philly, and he won't know what I'm talking about.
But
He's
they
like,
call
no,
themselves
that's a cult. And I'm
aren't
like,
they?
Yeah.
well, even for like the little boy horses, and I'm like, oh yeah, that Philly. He's like, who? And I'm like, that Philly. He's like, that's a cult. And I'm like, no, it's a Philly.
Listen, it ain't got no parts until I see it later.
It's not that kind of show, man.
Anyway, before we fall into a black hole of smut.
Oh god. Cut this part out of this recording.
Never, ever. That involves editing. You know no one watches past this part.
That's fair. Like I said, we got like one viewer. What was that? What was this? Anyway, we don't. Okay, we just keep going off track.
All right, so no one's submitting art. So let's call it then. We're gonna say congratulations, everyone. We have arted the art. will still be on the Agio. I plan on throwing at least another drawing on there. Gotta help my home dogs with their draw.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to draw, see if I can get something. I'm gonna try to open it up and see if I can get it working.
You should try and just open in every single browser and see which one works best.
I'm gonna open them up all in small windows and just draw all of them at once on the same screen.
This
Great.
sounds like a good choice.
Yep, I'm gonna crash my computer.
Oh man, that's actually something that this thing is. This studio, whatever they
Yeah.
redid to this software, man, it's good.
Right?
I mean,
So much, like,
it's using 250 megs of memory and only 4% of my processor. What the heck did they do?
apparently there was a memory leak in the one that I was currently using and you were previously using. We both were in the past using it. We now use Studio, but yeah, they stopped updating it. There was a major memory leak issue and a bunch of other issues, and they stopped supporting it. So it's like everything is down the toilet.
Yeah, wasn't too good.
Oh.
That would explain why any of those 4-hour-long streams just got very weird on the computer.
Yeah. See, for me, my whole system would just shut.
Have
Like,
you not used OBC?
OBS.
OBS, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean
because
OBS.
there's two OBSs. There's just
Yeah,
OBS
there's
and
the
OBS
new
Studio.
OBS Studio.
You should go switch to Studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I've been using too.
So it's the good one.
Yes.
They just rewrote it from the ground up and made it work. Right.
Yeah. And it doesn't like kill my computer after I stream for a half hour. That's nice.
Yeah, I'm eating 15% of my CPU and 28% of my memory.
Oh, it's not bad.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's 16 gigs of memory that Chrome is basically eating up for.
Chrome
The heck,
has
Chrome.
its own issues. I don't understand why, but
It's a sandbox.
that's
So-
fair.
So the way Chrome works is every single tab you have open is a brand new instance of Chrome, basically.
Uh-huh.
Every single plugin that's running within a new tab is a new instance of that plugin. And the
Oh.
reason they do this is if something crashes on one tab, it's not going to carry over to the rest of the program, so you can keep using it. It also helps prevent viruses and that from affecting it as hard. It's just a good way of doing it, but horrible for resources.
Yeah.
But what can you do?
I still like Chrome. Like, I mean, Firefox is a good backup, but
Yeah, no,
I
Chrome's
still like
where
Chrome.
it's at. It's fast. And now with Arc support, because they formatted Arc, it's wonderful. Arc's their
I'm
new...
an Edge user here.
Whoa! You're one of
Whoa.
3.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're gonna call it a day. We'll talk to you in the Discord. I'm still gonna be hanging around the live stream.
Yeah, I'm
dealing
still
with
I
good.
gotta draw something on the Aga too.
I'm Rah-Rah.
Aga.
Agio?
Sounds good.
Agio. Agi.
Rah-rah-rah?
Io.
Agaga
Rolls.
is what the baby calls it.
You know. Aga.
Alright. Love you all.
Bye. Thanks for coming.